Everybody, welcome to NextGen ProServ, a podcast about professional services and the next generation doing awesome things. I am so excited to be welcoming a friend of mine to the show today, Grace.
Hey, Molly, I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for asking me to join.
Of course, I am so pumped to get started with you today because we have so much energy behind a catch-up conversation and that casual let's chat and catch up. And of course, welcome you to Next Gen Podcast to spotlight your thought leadership and where you're taking your career. So, kind of as we get started, do you mind sharing with everybody how you started your career, how you might have gotten into professional services, and then even like what you're
Yes,
up to today?
absolutely. So I think of my adulting life. I call it adulting life because we all had the fun jobs when we were younger that paid you under the table and didn't really count. But in my adulting career, I had a first half of life in actually marketing agencies. So I was popping around agencies for about, 7 years in that life of that world, New York City, the real deal, like all that it could be. And then of actually a mutual friend of ours who worked at our agency where we knew each other. Uh, we played sports together, and she was hell bent on getting me to come over to analytics. And I said, Analytics? I know nothing about analytics. I'm a marketer. And then when I realized in marketing that our analytics was Googling how many people are watching TV, and that was the extent of our analytical, research, I went, maybe I should get a little better at this, as I think that's the way the world is going. And
Yeah.
then that's how I ended up at the latest company that I was at, where we were doing more data, cloud, AI, all that kind of stuff, and expanding my knowledge from marketing into sort of a little bit more of the usage and in that world. And that's where Molly, you and I met.
Yeah.
And most recently, I am so excited. I am taking on a role as the Chief Growth Officer here at Moonbird AI, where I couldn't be happier, both with the people that I'm working with. I am surrounded by, I just think, the most intelligent people I've ever known, the just most caring people. Uh, that they're just incredible. It's just amazing to be in that environment. And the work that they're doing is just so fun and revolutionizing where it needs to go. And I'll just kind of, you're getting me on a soapbox here, but it's what I love about the way they do work and that we approach work is that we are practitioners applying AI to spaces. And I feel like there's a lot of noise about AI right now. And it's like, oh, it's just a buzzword, and oh, there's an AI bubble, and oh, everyone's just trying to check a box, and oh, this and that and whatever. And there
Yeah.
is a lot of that out there. It is a very noisy space, don't get me wrong. But I think what just makes Moonbird and this group really unique is that we're the practitioners. We're not here to just try and be a bunch of, data scientists trying to force a problem down someone's throat. We actually live the problems and want to make our own lives easier and then make that public for other people to be able to use or find it in that kind of way. I kind of think of it like, I don't know if you've ever had work done on your house, but when you try and hire someone to do work, like redid our bathrooms, and so when a bunch of workers come in, they just do the work. They were trying to do the work, and they're putting things together, and I walk in, and in the middle of this I go, well, where's the plug near the sink in a bathroom where you need the hair dryers and your toothbrushes and all this sort of stuff? And they're like, oh, it's in the cabinet up on the top corner. And I went, that's not very practical for what needs to be done. And
Hmm.
so that concept of like an actual person who lives in the bathroom is the one making the AIs
Yep.
versus a bunch of people who are just trying to fit a bathroom into a house. And I think that's just what makes our approach so much fun and a little bit more different than that average AI noise that's going on out there.
I love that, especially because your background in services, you've seen so much, the amount of empathy that your team has for the customer experience. I just think it's like a really great fit for your next career move. So congratulations.
Thank
Like
you.
that's
Thank
just
you.
so exciting. And everyone here at Op Mentors is cheering for you. It's really, really fun to see Moonbird AI kind of take off this year. So yeah, so congrats.
Thank
It's
you.
really, really
It's a
fun.
lot of fun. It's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. Well, and like we were talking about preparing for today's podcast, and what's so exciting about launching Next Gen ProServ is really getting professional services alumni together to talk about past experiences and things that you've done from an operations perspective, which is kind of that op mentors, guiding light.
Mhm.
But then like apply that, right, to your current role, what you aspire to do as a leader in this organization. So even when it comes to why were they the next best fit for your career, do you think you're going to pull any tools out of your toolkit kind of operationally from our experiences together? And I think what's fun to kind of share with the audience is I was an operations manager at this digital marketing agency that we worked at together, where I was the Certinia administrator. And I would consistently go to Grace to say, how are you forecasting your revenue on projects? How is this SOW structured? Why were the services and the team model set up this way in Certinia? So you could do time cards and billing and everything appropriately. But like you're such an influencer from a operations perspective and services. So that's why I was like, we have to get you on the podcast. I want to hear what are you taking from those experiences to your role? And now even more of a shift focus on revenue, which I think is going to be kind of cool to tap into today.
Yeah, I love it. And I'll say what you guys are doing in Op Mentors and bringing that operations to people. First of all, anyone who's signing up with you is set for life. You, when we worked together, you had that stuff on lockdown beyond lockdown. Like we didn't even know we needed the lockdown
No.
to get the lockdown, and it had that in place. And I'll say both from that experience and learning from you, I have to, a lot of my where I know my operations and the rigor that needs to go around it has come from our experience together. I absolutely take that where I'm at today. So
Yeah.
uh, I'm surrounded with some really brilliant people: Mark Zoller, Sierra Atkins, Wesley Huth. They are absolutely brilliant. I love them to death, and they're more on the technical side. So I
Yeah.
actually feel like I'm able to help bring a bit more of that operational rigor, that customer thought of like how the customer journey is going to come about it, how's this going to feel in that flow for them, taking their technical prowess one step further
It's awesome.
in that kind of holistic way. So my title as growth, it's growth, I think is a little bit all encompassing as it comes to both helping to manage our clients, that growth, help growth and figuring out sales and revenue, which is a whole ball game I've never really gotten a chance to play in, and that kind of cold outreach side of things, which has been a learning experience, but also that growth internally, that operational, what is our structure? What are our key things? Because if we build a business without that foundation, which is exactly what you guys are selling into people, which is you need that foundation there in your business, because if you try and scale, you're gonna always just be floundering and one step behind. So
Yeah.
what is great to bring to the table is how do you create processes when you don't think you need it? Because
Sure.
that's, when you're like, hey, I'm too small, I can do, but also not over engineering at a small
Yeah, I
level,
was gonna say, like,
being
we can
nimble.
dive into that a little bit because going from a multi-hundred person company with
Hmm.
multiple practice areas, I think we had five or more.
Yep.
Now we're both in these environments where they're small teams and we're using really robust technology to scale.
Yeah.
It's kind of in the secret sauce. Do you need a lot of humans to scale your business?
I,
What kind of solution offerings are out there? I mean,
yeah.
that's the fun, exciting part
Yeah.
about AI solutions that we're even diving into. Is like, we're doing revenue planning for accounts and we're in Salesforce every day creating accounts and opportunities and forecasting. When do we think these projects are going to hit? And, are we going to have the cash flow we need to run a small business? That's
Mhm.
probably the world we're more in today. The big math
Yep.
from
Yep.
our
Yep.
previous CFO, right? Saying
Yep.
like, what's the big revenue on top and what's our cost and can we make payroll every month as a small startup? That's a really interesting place to play. And so now it's with these solutions, scaling a business is going to be really different. So here's a really interesting question. Is T&M dead?
Well, so we are doing it uniquely over here. So at Moonbird, we've actually been bootstrapping our business. We have a product launching here February 13th. It is called Ivory. It is a tag manager co-pilot. So basically anything you need to do in Adobe Tag Manager. searching for problems like this broke. Where is this tag located on my site and all that, like having to find issues, anything with bulk uploads or even just changing things on it or tagging. We can straight up tag. It's all now done natural language. We've
Mhm.
given that enablement to the team. But we've been doing it with services to bootstrap. So we've actually been really strategic in it.
Mhm.
So in my heart of hearts where I think we have you mentioned as we were prepping for this a little trauma bonding around the services side of things that I get a little
Well, shaky.
anxiety around customers and servicing and that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
We've been doing that to help fund ourselves while we were doing this project. So on the one hand is TNM dead and all that stuff kind of doing it uh maybe at
Yeah.
some point
Maybe not
because
today.
these tools are being enabled for people to be able to do it on their own, but uh right now it's
Yeah.
a source of revenue for us whether I like it or not.
No,
And it may
hey,
continue to be
we're the
for
same, right? It's like, what is
uh,
that perfect blend of
yeah,
services, managed services,
yeah,
product,
yeah.
like that's just really, really exciting. And yeah, in your role, that's going to be an interesting piece to consider, right?
Yeah. And it does keep you close to like what the problems are. So I will
Yeah,
say there's something to be said as we have some, really exciting clients that have massive problems that blow my mind. And a lot of them are operational. Like a lot of things we're doing from an AI perspective for services is operational efficiencies. Like that's a big play. But I think
cool.
it'll always have human, components in the loop to have to do. We are not a AI replaces and fire everybody because AI is now here kind of company. We are our tool is to make your people who are already brilliant faster at the mundane stuff so they can spend most of their time doing the strategy that they've always put secondary to the ongoing day-to-day tasks.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So when it comes to like even growing your team then, and what does like the services side of your business look like? What are the things kind of rolling around in your guys' mind today as a small shop, and who do you want to be when you grow up, right?
Yeah, we joke that I don't remember. Wes constantly quotes it. I don't know if it was like Instagram or Twitter. Like one of them said that, you only need 5 people to run a $1 billion business. And we've kind of always had that a little bit in the back of our head of we want to stay small and lean. Like
Yeah.
we think we can scale based off of the products and the services that we can do, that we can scale in a way that keeps things lean. Now, to your question, there's always going to be a managed service component and, customer service side of things, but again, at this point, a lot of intro can be automated, so you really can have your expertise really that you're paying for on the back end. So
Hmm.
we hope to keep a lean expertise team
Hmm.
in the repertoire as much as we
Yeah.
can, and then adapt as we need. But if we can, let's automate what we can. Let's automate those tasks so our smart people that we're paying for their intelligence can do the work tenfold than
Hmm.
50 people
Right,
to
right. Yeah, what an interesting thing to kind of reflect on or just compare experiences, right? Being in a large company and then joining a small organization.
hmm
Those lessons learned about revenue commitments, managing a bench, using
yeah,
bench time in a way that's productive, right? Like we would track billable time for projects in PSA, and then
yeah.
all of our PTO and all of our training and solution development time, meet company meetings, and the silly question that always came up, like, can I put travel on my time card, right?
Yeah, like how do
And
I fit this things where
yeah.
they need to go? Yeah,
Exactly. And so now,
yeah,
like, compare that to an experience of starting small, focusing on lean, focusing on
yeah,
running a company really effectively with like what you have. Yeah, yeah. And it's so funny. I'd love to like pivot the conversation even on the other side of the house because I have so many customers listening today that are from large companies using
yeah,
Certinia PSA today. And even just pull from some of your experiences leading up the PMO or a portfolio of accounts.
yeah,
Just think back to our old days of, you pull up a work planner and you're looking at the entire company roster and where people are forecasted. Can you even think of like pro tips or rigor that you could like share just today in general as like a pro tip section of the podcast of like what a day in a life look like for you as like a successful PSA power user? Like, what was your Monday through
Yeah.
Friday?
Yeah. Well, that's a great question. It certainly it was about routine. I will say it really helped to have a routine around the systems. Fridays was all about like the following week. Like, what do I need to do? Having checked both, whatever task management system you might have compared to what needs to be done and ensuring that I'm looking at forward even a few weeks that there's no PTO added, that this and that is all set up and all these kind of things were done that Friday because if you walk in Monday and you didn't do that cleanse already, Monday already felt anxiety driven and stuff along those lines. Like Monday should be more about that checking with the team. Here's your like organization of things. Here's what you
Mhm.
need to do. Here's how it needs to be done. And I was a big drafter. Like I would go in on Fridays, change everything, screenshot it, draft my message to the team for Monday. So I would use Fridays to even draft all of my notes.
Mhm.
So Monday was almost just hitting send, and sometimes I even like scheduled the sends of stuff. So
Oh, interesting.
Friday was all organizing it and drafting for Monday for the team. That way, Monday, I didn't even have to spend the morning doing that admin stuff. I could jump right into what needs to happen, who do I need to follow up on to make a certain thing, what fix do I need to do in the system, or what did we learn that week do I need to do. So I almost had all that admin stuff done and scheduled on a Friday. So Monday, I wasn't feeling behind when everyone's trying to kick off the week with, can you fix this? Can you adjust my schedule here? We need to change this. We need to do this. And I was ready to jump right in because all that was drafted on a Friday.
Cool.
So that was a biggie for me. I was a big drafter.
Big
And then the
drafter.
system
Yeah.
itself, it was always check everything's Fridays, check the PTOs in advance, the forecast. Mondays should just be making tweaks or updates based off of submissions of timesheets, if
Mhm.
anything left over. And then you should, I was, and then screenshot send when we needed
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Friday.
I mean,
So,
what's really amazing about now being a customer from working at that agency to now being a consultant at Op Mentors, the core functions are all still just the foundation of a successful PSA, right? So opportunities are going close one, we're setting up projects, kicking off sales to service
yep,
with fresh resource requests based on that service template, right?
yep,
All still really core to the product. And what's interesting now, which I don't know if you had this before you transitioned, but there's this feature now called intelligent staffing. So all the resource requests with the skills by like
yep,
project manager, consultant, the roles, start and end date and hours.
yeah,
It now has intelligent capabilities to say, of all the project managers, here is who has capacity and availability already and gives you the recommendation of the best match.
yep,
So even as like a resource manager for a team of 500, I probably could now handle it for even larger teams because of
yep,
this intelligent staffing capability. So like I even think back to when we were staffing people and like PMO, who's a great fit for this new project or account based on like industry knowledge or, things they wanted to do. There's now even like aspiration, like select me to staff stuff in the pipeline. So it's so cool that if you think back to how we were working even
yep,
creating some custom objects or like getting creative with our Salesforce administrator.
yep.
Certinia is now doing all these releases for these features that we were like dying to have years ago. So like
I love it.
professional services is definitely making that next wave and the product's like following right along with it.
Well, I think I love it because I think that speaks to exactly like what Moonbird is doing in general. And again, I don't even want to call it AI because it's not even just AI, but a good systems who are keeping up with the times
Mhm.
are trying to make the day-to-day mundane things. It's the little things. It's the little things that takes so much time of your expert resources, like staffing or trying to map these things out that you
Yeah.
have to
It's
do
like I should be
manually.
consulting, not this admin work, right?
Exactly. Or
Yeah,
you should be able to take the list and use that last 10% to say, oh, but I know this person works better with this person, or
exactly.
things like that. Instead of you forget that piece because you already spent 6 hours trying to, sift through everything. So
Yeah.
how do you make systems
Hmm.
uh, not replacing, not big, not flashy, not showcasey, because they don't do anything, but how do you make the small things that really
Really
enhance the
matter.
users to do the work better? And then the key thing here is all of this is only as good as your inputs. And so you got
100%.
it. The other piece that we notice a lot on our clients, which I'm sure a part of your consulting part of it is the governance side. If you can get down the right inputs to do this, because I remember back when we were working, you were trying to set up those skill sets. I think right before you had transitioned to your next job, you were trying to get the skill set, but we never did a really good job on our end of actually putting in the right people, updating the right people's skills, and doing that kind of stuff. And so
Hmm.
these systems are at people's fingertips, but if you aren't actively doing the right governance checks and processes,
Hmm.
you're just making the work 10 times harder, even
Yeah.
though the
Yeah.
systems are there.
Well,
And
it's so interesting you say that too, because we're starting to work on a partnership with another AI company that is, listening to context in your consulting phone calls,
yep,
gathering all of the intelligence and context of the conversations,
yep.
things that you're doing in your consulting meetings, the internal calls where you're strategizing. And I'm almost wondering if gone are the days of like doing the data input to say, my name's Molly. I'm a project manager. I'm a rating 3 out of 5 in strength. And in these industries, these are where I have skills. If you just spoke that out in a conversation,
I,
how is AI someday?
it's
Probably. Like it's going to grab it, it's going to do that data input, and you're going to
yep.
get the value so much faster. So I'm pretty interested to kind of see where all this goes.
I mean, that's literally what Ivory, our tool, is doing. It's taking a
Yeah.
problem and making it natural language. Like
Hmm.
things are gonna move to a way that most things, a lot of things, I think, could be managed via some form of natural language. I want this, I need
Hmm.
this, I am this, or spoken in some way, and it
Yeah.
will translate to a complex task.
Yeah. 100%.
100%. I mean,
And it's interesting because we're picking all these things up on the job in our day to day. Some folks are getting certification or kind of going back to school and learning this.
yeah.
How are you staying up to date on like the latest things? Is it still dangerous territory, right? I mean, I'm still learning. I'm sure you're still learning. What do
Oh
you think
yeah.
this is all going to look like when it comes to like learning on the
It's
job
fast.
or college kids, right? People coming right out of school with new
Yeah.
skills. What, like, how do you think some of
Mhm.
that's going to look?
I'll say it's fast. It is fast. I mean, even in our time building tools, we've shifted the like foundation of where things were located multiple
Hmm.
times because something new and better came out in the time that we're building it. Like it's unbelievable the
Yeah.
speed in which things are just developing. And I'll say I think it's impossible to keep up. But what we do here at Moonbird is like we have a whole just news and articles and stuff, and we're posting anything we find daily. At
Okay.
the gym in the mornings, I listen to AI podcasts,
Hmm.
industry sales meetings, marketing podcasts. Like I have like on rotation different podcasts that I'm listening to every morning for an hour at the gym, but it's not, it used to be leadership books. And now I'm like, I'm leadership books. It's old news. Like I can't
Yeah.
spend my time doing that. I need last
Oh
week's
my gosh,
podcast that
how
tells me about
interesting.
such
That
and such. Like
that's the
I
first time
need.
I've heard someone say that actually. Like I haven't picked up a book in a while because the latest news is the latest chat.
Mhm. Like it's that's what it is.
Yeah.
So that's that my morning routine is completely changed to be listening to what's out there in both business space because that's completely changing of how people are doing business, sales, like our product is a SaaS product, but SaaS is even like that term is changing and everything along those lines. So like
Hmm.
everything is changing so rapidly that if you're not in some way, shape, or form carving out time each day to just look at even LinkedIn of like who's the latest articles in the space, like
Yeah.
it's fast.
It is. It is. And you really have to push yourself out of your comfort zone to go do something different because I think we could get sidestepped pretty quickly. So in these spaces too, it's like be the first, have a voice and a point of view
Yep.
is so, so important. Where like I think before professional services, it was like whoever built the teams with the strongest bench and big diverse points of view. And now I see out there in the ecosystem, people are more willing to have a niche and then collaborate and say, like, this is what we're going to be really good at. And if you need something like that, it's almost a partnership situation.
Yep.
Are you seeing that kind of across the board too?
I'll say I think that's what, especially in the AI space, is going to win is expertise in certain areas. I think it's going to be really hard to be a generalist these
Uh-huh.
days
Okay.
because again, because things move so fast, you can't keep up with everything across anything and still be the best at it.
Mm-hmm.
So if like for us, while we're helping clients in general work, scale, and compete in the age of AI. We have clients where we're helping them do this. We are our need, we're helping in analytics a lot at this space for our tools. Like we are Adobe Analytics experts, we're analytics, so that's where our tools have come from. We build Ivory, we have a tool where we can migrate Web SDK or migrate you from Adobe Analytics to Web SDK with a button click. And
Mm-hmm.
our expertise, like we're in that space. That's where our 20 plus years come from. And so that's where we're leaning in to really showcase what we can do to be able to help our people because that's a niche thing, a very
Yep.
specific component, and we're the best at it. We're gonna be the best at it, and we'll continue to be the best at it because what we bring and what we focus on versus someone who's trying to do services for everybody or services
Right.
across, they're never gonna be able to pivot quick
Mm-hmm.
enough in any one area with it the way we are able to, or you're able to with your knowledge in this space, keeping up with those trends. It's I think going to be really hard to be
Yeah.
that
Well, and
generalist.
even the classic like Google search for a partner, say like I'm the customer and I'm like, I need someone who can do this.
Yep.
Their search is going to become so unique. The way even someone looking for a company might not even be Google. It's going to be asking an agent it's making you kind of redefine like what's my go-to-market play?
Yep.
How's AI actually going to bust through agency and like small and big? I'm just really, really excited to see like where everybody goes with establishing their niche and building their customer
Yeah.
portfolios. It's going to be a big year.
I think agencies in general are going to, I don't know, we're curious to see where agencies
Okay.
go. Because I think, again, that generalist service is going to get beaten out by a lot of niche companies. And I think a lot of the general services can be done more and more in-house with enhancements through
Mhm.
tools and AI. And so I think the agency worlds in general of that generalist support are going to
Mhm.
be it'll be interesting. I don't think it'll go away because I think like your big companies will always need that extra, you
Yep,
know, I don't want to call it staff augmentation support, but that extra like hands on support that they'll need. But I think that's going to be an interesting future world for
for
sure.
sure. Yeah, yeah. Well, as always, so great to catch up with you. We're looking forward to your product launch
Yes,
and,
yes.
celebrate the
Come join.
team.
So we're gonna do a launch party if you're interested. I don't know when you're sending this out, but I can send our registration link to join our launch party. We're going to do actually a pay homage to satellite. The first change in tag management when they launched that. So we're gonna have a few speakers from that satellite day come, and we're gonna showcase Ivory and the whole 9 yards. So if you
That's
are
awesome.
listening and want to come join us for to say you were there for the future of tag management, we'd love to have you at our launch party.
That's
So
awesome. Yeah.
yeah,
Thank you so much for the invite. We're going to be sure to spread the word and all the great work that you guys are doing and wish you the best in 2026.